determine the pacemaker step. And we said pacemaker is nothing but a place from where things are, the pull is started from there. Okay. Goes first in, first out. That's why whether we decide to build directly from shipping or we actually give the plan to the pacemaker, and from there it goes first in, first out. So we use a board called workload leveling board, workload leveling. It's very simple. All lean concepts are actually very simple. It only needs a high degree of work discipline to follow that. Otherwise, it's very simple. What is that? You're basically telling them first what you should do, second what you should do, third what you should do. And what is the signal for that? I'm just typing in the comment box. In future state mapping, you do something like this, right? OX, OX. How many of you remember this Heijunka board? So in the pacemaker, you do the, and from there, the other simpler way to imagine this is, before making the chapatis, the pacemaker is at the dough stage. And then from there, you say whether it is fulka or whether it is chapati or whether it is naan or whether it is aloo paratha or whether it is other items. So using pull systems, only schedule at one point, termed as pacemaker, as it sets the pace for entire process. Pacemaker sets the pace for entire process. And this illustration is clearly given in Learning to See book. If people have not read that book, kindly go ahead and read that book. So all flows downstream of the pacemaker, all flows downstream of the pacemaker need to occur in a flow, which means that it should go in first in and first out. Okay, there is no supermarket after that. This should be very clear. Okay, there is no supermarket after the pacemaker. There is no inventory whatsoever. Therefore, pacemaker is typically chosen as the furthest point upstream at which continuous flow is maintained till the end of the process. Many companies earlier, now everything is digitized. Okay, now everything is digitized. Maybe in future presentations, I want to show both, I would say not the 21st century, but at least this decade, where it is going to, where we are transforming into industry 4.0. Earlier, how we were maintaining this pigeonhole type. This is called pigeonhole type of scheduling. So they will say that, okay, shift 1, 7 o'clock, 7:25, 7:50, 8:15, 8:40, 9:05, and shift 2, these timings, do these things, okay? Standard bracket, you do this, and the details are given inside this card. So this is called level loading. This is called level loading at the pacemaker. Let's understand a little bit deeper about the pacemaker. My friends, if you don't understand pacemaker also, it's okay. It's okay, because generally value stream mapping comes only by practice. And all this, many of the concepts of lean theoretically might look easy, but when you implement practically, you'll have a deeper understanding. So at a conceptual level, if you understand, it is okay. Even if you don't understand, the best way of understanding is hearing 2-3 times and then referring and doing some research on your own. But then the ultimate form of understanding is implementation. So this means only, it's like swimming only. It's just like swimming. This means that each day's worth of Kanbans need to be released to the pacemaker gradually, not in a single batch. Gradually is the key word here. So each day's worth of Kanbans. What is Kanbans? It's a production Kanban and withdrawal Kanban. So you actually release that production Kanban in the slots in a particular timelines. And then they say, produce this at 7 o'clock, produce this at 7:25, produce this at 7:50. But at 8:15, produce P, not S. Okay, as per this. So it's not junk and saying that the whole day you produce this. Generally, they say, no, today you'll have to produce so much of S and so much of P. Instead of saying that, they say that at 7 o'clock, how much of S should be produced. At 7:50, 7:25, how much of S should be produced. At 7:50, how much of S should be produced. At 8:15, how much of P has to be produced. And that is what it means by each day's worth of Kanban need to be released to the pacemaker gradually, not in a single batch. Accomplished traditionally, okay? Now that tradition is gone by slotting the day's Kanban into a box called load leveling. Why is it called load leveling? Because you're not dumping and giving, okay, you produced for the entire day. Hourly and timely, you are giving and you are adjusting. It's called in Japanese Heijunka. Okay, now I'm going to ask the same question here on a scale of 1 to 10. If it is super clear, give it 8, 9, or 10. If it is still not too clear, you can give 4, 5, 6. No issues, because this is not something that we would be able to understand in the first instance. Okay. And moreover, this is the topic where only when you practically implement, then you will have a deeper understanding. Superb. So time slots in the load leveling box are set at a pitch increment. It's called as a pitch also. There is a pitch calculation also in some cases. These are all deeper topics. So pitch increment is the rate at which the new Kanbans are released to the pacemaker. And typically this is for the mass production. These things are applicable, okay? I'm repeating again, for mass production, all this is applicable. Production mix leveling. In lean, if you want to maintain flow, if you want to ensure that all color cars are, because customer wants all the types of cars. What are the variants? Basic variant is all colors. The next variant in cars is sizes. The third variant is with AC, without AC, with power steering, without power steering. The fourth variant might be with upholstery, without upholstery. I don't know. You can type all the variants there. So the people might always ask. Some might ask yellow color cars, some might ask red color cars, blue color cars, some might ask small cars, medium cars, big cars, luxury cars, sedan, whatever. So how do you ensure that all customer requirements are catered? That's why we talk something called as must level production mix. And that's where Toyota actually had an upper hand. Do not want to produce different. How many of you read the book, this book? How many of you read this book direct from Dell, from Michael Dell? If you've not read it, I strongly urge you read it. I don't have a soft copy of this, but I have the hard copy of it, direct from Dell. Do not want batch, produce different product item running on the same process. Yeah, it's from Michael Dell himself. The pacemaker will need to be able to change over frequently. You need to ensure that the process will be flexible enough to react to the changing demands. We can also use the level loading box to communicate the production mix to the pacemaker process loop. So if you are a trainer, you can generally give exercise to them. Okay, like some separate into 3 to 5 groups, get materials for each group, VSM data sheet you can give them, large blank paper, pencil, and the exercises as a group create the current value stream mapping, calculate lead time and process cycle efficiency, recommended Kaizen events for future state. Now, at some point in time, this particular exercise is done through the pen game. In so many batches, I have not revealed this game. And now I'm just talking about this game. What I do, suppose if the company says, we want people to understand what is value stream mapping exercise. In online, I can't do a pen game, okay? But offline, what you do is, the best game for value stream mapping is a pen game. Did I create the pen game? Yes. I bought the same concept of pen game from Lego games. Lego boat making, Lego house making, and stuff like that. But then for me, what happens when I bought these Lego toys or the thing, after playing, you miss few pieces, then you can't get a complete piece. It's very expensive, and same color you don't get. So we always, because that is a US version, okay? McKinsey version. Let me talk about the author of this Lego value stream mapping games. I purchased from McKinsey. It's very expensive. But then I created an Indian version of it using the same concepts. And anyone, maybe when I start what is called as Lean Master Coach planning, I'm not crystallized my thought. Lean Coach Mastery. Then in Lean Coach Mastery, I would go into the depth of games for each of these lean activities. Because as a coach, if you can engage people with games, just once again, I'll just show you the book, what I've purchased. Okay. How many of you can see this book? Quite a heavy book, huh? With all illustrations. If you see, by the way, this is my IM card. You can see these games here. Dice game. Okay, here, how many of you can see single piece flow games, right? Okay, there are a lot of games, cellular activities and things like that. The author of this book, I will just type it, and it was not available. I had to. I think it costed about 7,000 or 8,000 bucks at that point in time. You can check now. It's from UK. JOHNBICHENO. Okay, the name of the book is The Lean Games and Simulations Book. And the publishers are PICSIE Books, 2015. And it's from University of Buckingham. Okay, University of Buckingham. Is that useful information for you? For those who are interested and it has got all these topics of games, okay? It has got A3, PDCA, AAR, Kaizen, 5S, DBR, drum buffer, rope effect also. Games, Muda, Mura, Muri games, corn whip games, line balance, cell, SOPs, bottlenecks, and measures, things like that. Okay. The reason I said this is engage people with a lot of games. Okay, let me see some responses if this information is useful. Okay. Now, when you do this pen game, you would ask them to teach them and make a value stream out of the pen game, what they have done. The pen game is something like, it is very easy to make this pen game toolkit because now the reason that I have designed this pen game is the flower pens are very easily available, and there are 6 components of the flower pen. If you see plastic components, some 4 of them, spring is a metal component, 1 item, and the refill is another component. Okay. And now you will have cap the place where you put that body and this thing. It'll be white color, but printed on pink color, and the body will be pink, and the click will be pink color. Similarly, blue color, white will be the top portion with blue color printed flare, and then blue color bottom. Most of the mistakes what people will do is when they do it in urgency, okay, everything looks white, but if you see the writing there will not match that color. So we illustrate quality defects using that pen game. All right, so, but the reason that I'm sharing that is since value stream mapping is a heavy subject, it's good to give that communication a flair of teaching through some games. And then when you ask them to do Gemba, they'll be more interactive. Okay, you can read this information. I'm not going through this. You can do it yourself, okay? I've created this just for your own homework. I've given all the VSM information for your own. See, one Acme case study we have seen, one adhesive case study we have seen, but one more example information I'm giving you for you to practice. Okay, all that information is given here. I'm not going to explain this. I'm giving you one more case study for this one was not there in the earlier batch. Okay, I'm giving it to you, but this case study we are not going to solve. Okay. So all the VSM example information I'm giving here, and you have to solve, you have to do the current state mapping by yourself, and you can actually do the future state mapping also. Of course, I had given the solution also here, but you do it yourself, okay? You do it yourself, because people will ask me at the end, what is that? How do I know whether I've done this correct or not? So I've given the current state map as well as the future state map, okay? How many of you will try that? And then identify the change, this thing also, opportunities for improvement also, I had mentioned there, okay? But if you have done it yourself on your own, and if you verify against this and find it's okay, that means you have a decent understanding. So service industry, some slides I've tried to add for the service industries, but in the next value stream mapping, next batch, shall be ready with one service industry example for value stream mapping. Service is generally often, I'm just giving the basics this time, often intangible. Service is often intangible. In service industry, the customer supplier sometimes exchange roles. Even somebody asks, you can be the customer and supplier at the same time also sometimes. More difficult to define and measure, okay? Often no specific data available for the process. Okay, this is one of the challenge. How many of you agree with me? And individual roles often a very small part of the overall job. And cross-functional. Manufacturing is tangible. Next process is customer, fairly easily defined the specifications, always some data on volumes, downtime, etc. But in service industry, you don't have all that, okay? So it's challenging. Service industry has to be done differently. See, ultimately, as we said, what is that objective that we are going to achieve? And is value stream mapping the right tool to meet that objective is something that we need to decide. And individual roles dedicated to specific processes available in manufacturing case. So this is broadly, I'm just giving a starter on the differences between service and manufacturing.